actually watch this part of the video first, and then watch all the stuff that I told you that you're doing wrong. Hey guys, click on everything.com, and of course, the house of biceps. I am here at the house of the biceps, answering one of the Bicepticons questions. Now, a loyal, faithful member of the Bicep Nation came to me the other day and said, Clint, having some knee pain while doing overhead press. Oddly enough, it doesn't make any sense. Do you have any ideas what's going on? Actually, it took me about a half a second to figure out what's going on. This is a very common problem that we see with a lot of strongmen. They're having knee pain while doing push press or really any kind of overhead press. And most important, it's an easy fix. And with that easy fix comes some pretty big strength gains. Now, pretty much anytime someone tells me they have knee pain during overhead press, I can pretty much tell them exactly why and what's going on. After I see the video, it's clearly obvious. What we see is someone here with the log or with the axe or with a bar of any kind. When they're doing their dip down, what we're seeing is the knees coming forward. And that is what you don't want. At this point right here, my quad tendon, everything, the pressure is tight right here. My knees are out in front of my toes, and my weight is on the balls of my feet and not the heels of my feet. Even if I lean on the heels, it puts more pressure here on my knees. Even worse, once I go to use my leg drive to come up, the only leg drive I have is from my knees and the tips of my toes. And you don't want that. We're strong men, we're powerlifters, we have big butts. We want to use them. So the simple fix, actually, instead of having the log here or the axle, whatever you're pressing, instead of having it here and dipping down this direction, putting the weight on the knees, you want the knees to almost go out, almost like you would spread the floor for a squat. You basically want to load the hips. You're not going to dip down quite as much, but you're going to get more power. What we're looking at is you have to find your comfortable stance. Sometimes this is a little bit wider. Sometimes it's as simple as pointing your toes out a little bit, but you have to find your stance where you can feel the weight on your heels and a little bit on the blades of your feet. So once you have the implement in position, instead of dipping forward like this, like a sissy squat, you want to dip out. Now, once I dip out, knees go out, my hips, I feel all the pressure on my hips. I can feel it on my quads. My body, my posture is still upright instead of back in this position. The weight is no longer on my knees. I can feel my heels and the blades of my feet, which you should almost be rolling your feet out. I can feel the weight on my heels and the blades of my feet. So when I drive up, I'm using my heels and my butt and my hamstrings to drive up. At that point, I get to actually finish the lift on my toes. Once the implement is finished moving, I can either press it or drop underneath it into the same position that I pressed from. So let me give you a slightly different angle. So when we're here, instead of being in the position of going down here, which is where you are right now, and it really does look that bad from up here, you just never see it because your head is tilted back like a sissy squat. The weight's on the balls of your feet and you extend up, making you fall forward almost all the time, putting all the pressure right there on your knees. What we're going to do from this position is when we go down, we're going to put the pressure out. The weight's on the blade of the feet. I'm exaggerating here, but the weight is on the blade of the foot. It stays on the heel. As you sit down and the knees go out, chest comes up. Now I can use my heels, my butt, my hamstrings to drive up onto my toes and then back down into a catch position. And in a slightly faster version, what we're looking at is, I bet that just looks wonderful on video. So from this point of view, once again, instead of coming forward on your toes and then driving up on your toes with your calves, which we have none, let's use the muscles that we do have. Let's drive out, Posture up, weight on the butt and the hams. Drive with the heels, up onto the toes, and then back down to the catch position. From the side, instead of weight on the toes, we're going to go weight on the heels. All right, guys, this is one of the most simple fixes for knee pain if you're having knee pain while doing overhead press. There are a lot of biomechanical issues that could be going on with your body. Could be anything wrong with your hamstrings, your knees, muscularly, anything like that. So I'm not your insurance provider or your doctor, so talk to them first. Actually watch this part of the video first, and then watch all the stuff that I told you that you're doing wrong, and then fix that. But try this. See if it works. Put the weight on your hips, on your butt, on your hamstrings, knees out instead of knees forward. And that just might be your key to getting rid of knee pain while doing the overhead press.